what you see on our right-hand side is part of the architrave. So colonnades, when there are colonnaded streets, these would be on the top of the colonnaded streets, or these could also be used in various other construction, perhaps at a theater. Probably a lot of these were also decorating the agora. But you see just loads of those. They're stacked up so high. Yeah, like an entire wall. Off into the distance, you can see the theater. Hard for me to imagine how you put together a puzzle like this. All the debris that you see, all the destroyed remains. I like doing puzzles. I don't do puzzles very often, but you know, you got this, what, 5,000 piece puzzle?
Well, you know they all
right? And it's like your little brother came in and lost half the pieces. How do you put the puzzle back together?
Puzzles in with other ones.
And the problem is you don't have the box top either to give you an idea as to what it's supposed to look like. So again, how do you do the puzzle? Here, once again, you can see fluted columns.
Yep.
There's tons and tons of fluted columns. I mean, this is like impressive, is it not?
And then if you find two that match, now you have to pick it up and pick it up.
Over on our right-hand side, we have theater masks. These are pieces that would decorate this theater or other theaters. Remember, people are, you could say, shopping. People are ordering a lot of these products that are going to be sent to their particular city to decorate their city. I mean, it's like the storage house for relief carvings and statues and sarcophagi. And these pieces are heavy. It's not like it's, put in a box and send it UPS. I would suspect it's more like the architects, the engineers. Sometimes cities, if you can't afford it, you have your own people do it. So if you've got capable people who are able to do some of this artistic work, that's good. But if not, you may and
never really thought about them now. Like going to the warehouse and picking out what you want.
Yeah, this is a pool. This is there's different parts to the agora. This is one part of the agora. This was a pool. You can see it's encircled.
I assume the rocks were laid down later in the mines.
I don't even know what those rocks are in the center. Yeah, it does look like they ordered or arranged them, but I don't know what purpose
the
they would
stadium
serve.
is way.
And then, of course, on the other side of the tree line there, we have another part of the agora. This is a cool city. It's beautiful.
I mean,
We don't
it's
always
just
take
like
a biblical tour here,
regular park pool.
even though I think it's worth taking a biblical tour here, simply because Aphrodisias is not a biblical site. But I have mentioned before, we know that Paul's missionary strategy is to go to cities with Jews. And you couple that together with what we read about in Acts chapter 19, verse 10. School of Tyrannus, Paul sent those disciples out into the surrounding region, and he has this concluded statement, so that all of Asia heard the word of the Lord. Well, certainly they came to Aphrodisias, given the fact that there's a large Jewish community here, and it's not all that far from Ephesus. So this city was definitely evangelized. Now, I don't know how much time we want to spend here, but if you also go down in here to the seats, you have a lot of graffiti on the seats. So you have people carving symbols, you see some game boards, you see some names of people in the seats. Once again, in the center of the theater, you see the box for the dignitaries, governors, city officials. If the emperor were to come here, he would be seated in that spot. Wealthy people get the best seats. The peasants may not get in at all, or if they do, they're occupying the streets or the seats further away, just like today. When I go to a football game, I can't afford the big time seats. I always sit in the cheap seats and then wonder, what am I doing here?
I can see better from my TV.
Yeah, really. It's so loud. Everything's so expensive. The crush of the crowd to get in, to get out.
That's the excitement.
Well, I go to Penn State. Penn State stuffs that stadium with 107,000 people. It's the second largest stadium in the United States. And the traffic is something else. The Nittany Lions.
So do we have any idea how large a city population-wise it might be?
Yeah, for this city, I couldn't speculate. There may be some statistics out there. Levin, do you have any idea what the population might have been?
About the population, absolutely, approximately right, absolutely wrong. We can talk at least about 150,000 people.
Okay.
When you consider the theater itself. But there is something you need to take more into the consideration over here. Cities like in the countryside were used as the main centers for different civil occasions sponsored by the state. For the Stadium of Aphrodisias, that was the largest and the one and the only stadium in this zone. So this city, besides than its current population, besides than its past current population, it was believed to be a center for certain games and activities. This might be the reason why taking the theater size and multiplying it with 2 will give you an overestimated population over here.
Bear in mind also, the seats that you see here was not the full extent of the theater.
There was a second
There
part.
was a second level here, up higher on the hill. You can see some of the seats, in fact, over here on the left-hand side.
So we can talk about 10, 12,000, 15,000 population capacity times 100. I mean,
10.
I will not be wrong to say 100,000 people was living in and around the city, because if you don't mind coming to this part from here, it will be quite hard to point it out. But right here, Gaius Julius Zoilos. He was actually a native of Aphrodisias. He was captured by the pirates, and it was Octavian who bought it as a slave. Later on, because of the good relations or whatever he had done, he became a freedman. And with the connection that he had with Octavian, he returned back, and he covered the expenses for the construction of the whole theater complex over here. And then we're going to show you a huge agora. The north part of that agora was sponsored by him, and plus the Aphrodite temple that we're going to see, which is like one of the largest temples dedicated to Aphrodite in this area, was also sponsored by him. So the amount of...
We need to move this over here.
Yeah. That's the case.
We're not
So
quite there.
for this guy's name was a big name in the city. He was just like the most benefactor citizen over here. And the idea is his connection with the ruling emperor. He was able to get a personal wealth. Imagine when Mark was saying it was an important thing for a city to have a good relation with the emperor so that they will receive their kickback. I mean, they will receive many donations. Even a single person was received enough that he can spare the cost of the theater, a huge part of the agora, and even a temple that you will be impressed with the size when you see that. So, being a Neokros was a very, very, very important title that a city can get. It means wealth will be flowing into your city. And if the emperor or the ruling dynasty that you have received the permission to worship to them lasts in the Roman throne for more than few generations, then hallelujah. I mean, that city will become a center at the end. So the works that he had done can be used as a reference.